Good morning, televiewers. You're on to The Brief, the program where we get to dig several layers beneath the striking headlines in the papers. On today's edition of the program, we are bringing to you the major headlines that the papers do carry today in Cameroon, especially the continued borrowing by the government of Cameroon and vandalism at the Cameroon's embassy in Belgium. So those are the major headlines that we will be analyzing this morning. Audrey ZATSA is already around as usual to read the headlines in the French language. Bonjour Audrey.
Bonjour LASHA Kingsley, bonjour à vous fidèles téléspectateurs. Parlons de la Cannes Total Énergie 2021 qui devrait accueillir le Cameroun. Arrivé à sa fin de mission en terre camerounaise, le secrétaire général de la CAF a finalement ou définitivement levé les doutes sur le report de la cérémonie de tirage au sort. En tout cas, c'est ce qu'on peut lire dans le journal à capitaux publics Cameroun Tribune, par lequel nous ouvrons notre exercice de ce matin. Et à sa parution de ce jour, Cameroun Tribune parle du fait que le rendez-vous initialement prévu pour le 25 juin a été reprogrammé pour la première quinzaine du mois d'août. En attendant, le bureau dédié de la Confédération a été inauguré hier à Yaoundé par Véran Mosengo Omba, qui n'a pas tari d'éloges sur le niveau de la préparation du Cameroun. Vous aurez plus d'informations dans le journal Cameroun Tribune que vous retrouverez dans les kiosques à journaux ce matin. Le jour de ce jour parle aussi de la Cannes et rassure de ce que le tirage au sort de cet événement a été reprogrammé au mois d'août 2021. On apprend aussi du journal que le bureau de la Confédération africaine de football a été inauguré ce mardi 15 juin 2021 à Yaoundé en présence du patron de l'administration de l'instance fêtière du football africain, du ministre de camerounais des sports et de l'éducation physique, Narcisse Mwele Kombi, et du président de la Fédération camerounaise de football, Seydou Mbombo Njoya. C'était donc hier cette cérémonie, et vous aurez plus dans le journal de Aman Mana que vous retrouverez dans les kiosques à journaux. On parle insécurité avec repère dans sa livraison de ce matin. Notre confrère fait savoir que la première conférence semestrielle des gouverneurs des régions s'est spécialement penchée sur le grand banditisme, le désordre urbain qui sont en pleine recrudescence au moment où le Cameroun s'apprête justement à accueillir la Cannes. Terminons avec mutation qui parle baccalauréat général, matière à polémique. D'après le journal, les épreuves de mathématiques, géographie et éducation à la citoyenneté ont été élaborées sur la base d'une approche pédagogique qui n'est plus en vigueur. Vous aurez donc, ou alors vous lirez les enquêtes à ce sujet dans la page 7 du journal Mutation. Voilà, mesdames, messieurs, pour les tabloïds en français. Place à toi, LASHA Kingsley, en anglais.
Thank you, Audrey ZATSA. Let's kickstart with the Guardian Post newspaper. The Lone English Daily is interested in the continuous borrowing, or what the paper terms continuous borrowing spree of the government of the Republic of Cameroon. And the Guardian Post newspaper this morning, like I did mention, is talking about the borrowing, where Cameroon, according to the paper, is borrowing another 54 billion francs CFA from the World Bank. The paper says President Paul Biya has authorized Alamin Ousmane Mey, Minister of the Economy, Planning and Regional Development, Nepal, to take another loan amounting to some 54.1 billion francs CFA. The loan from the International Development Assistance IDA, the IDA, which is of course an agency of the World Bank. So Cameroon will be taking another additional 54.1 billion francs CFA, according to a decree signed by President Paul Biya, handing down the authorization or handing down clarification that the funds will be used to finance the third development policy support operation in the country. So this money will be used, like I earlier mentioned, for the setting up of the development policy support operation in the country. More details in this edition of the Guardian Post newspaper. The Guardian Post is revisiting what happened in Belgium on Monday. Anti-beer protesters storm, vandalize Cameroon embassy in Belgium. The paper says they were protesting the arrest of plantation workers who insulted President Paul Biya and his ministers over alleged swindling of COVID-19 funds in Cameroon. Governments hurriedly summons, summons Belgian ambassador to the country for questioning. The paper goes ahead to say the ban of anti-beer regime activists attacked Cameroon's embassy in Belgium Monday 14. They were reportedly expressing indignation over the arrest of some 3 plantation workers accused of insulting the President of the Republic of Cameroon. One of the plantation workers by name Yembe Boda Clemens had surfaced on the social media. That a video of him had surfaced on the social media Thursday, June 10, 2021, insulting the head of state, President Paul Biya, over the management of what he claimed is the embezzlement of 180 billion francs CFA meant for the fight against COVID-19 in the country. Let's leave the Guardian Post newspaper. This time around we are with Municipal Updates. Municipal Updates newspaper this morning is interested in the homage paid to Chidi Achu, the first Anglophone Prime Minister of Cameroon. The paper says Cameroon traditional rulers raise Chidi Achu to send hope. The paper also revisits the appointment of the public independent conciliators for the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. And in one of its major headlines, the paper says after appointment of public independent conciliators for the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon, special status set to break new grounds. More details in this edition of the paper, which is of course also talking about the visit of Minister Paul Atanganji to the east region of the country, where he was there to represent the head of state Paul Biya in a ceremony that was meant to hand over some relief materials to Central African refugees who are taking refuge in Garwa-Bolai in the east region of Cameroon. The Voice newspaper on its part is interested in the tension between the Prime Minister of Cameroon and the Secretary General at the Presidency of the Republic of Cameroon, Ferdinand Ngongo, over the management of COVID-19 funds in Cameroon. You can get more details about the tension which continues to mount between the Prime Minister of Cameroon, Chief Dr. Joseph Diongute, and the Minister of State, Secretary General at the Presidency of the Republic of Cameroon, Ferdinand Ngongo, only in this edition of the newspaper. The paper also revisits the NEG meeting over the weekend, which held in Yaoundé, the SDF NEG meeting, which has to do with the resolution of the crisis plaguing the party, or the conflict between 2 top officials of the party. Article 8.2, according to the paper, to ask O.C. Joshua. The article missed O.C. Joshua, according to the paper. Furundi has used wisdom, according to the paper, to resolve the conflict between Honorable Jean-Michel Ninche, Littoral Regional President, and the first Vice National Chairman, O.C. Joshua, who had been at loggerhead with each other over the signature that the first Vice National President pinned on a document which was sent to the American Congress. Thank you for watching, televiewers. We are back in the studio to continue with the discussions this morning, and we are receiving the special advisor to Professor Maurice Kamto, who is always with us. He's here this morning to dig several layers beneath some of the striking headlines with us. Good morning, sir, and welcome to the program.
Good morning, Mr. LASHA Kingsley, and good morning to your co-host, Madame AUDREY ZATSA. Good morning to the millions of televiewers of My Media Prime TV. Permit me excuse for lateness.
Yeah, despite this,
I was caught up in the traffic this morning.
Despite the huge traffic
yes.
this morning in the city of Douala, you were able to make it on time
Yes.
in our studios. And let's begin with this continuous borrowing by the government of Cameroon. Recently, Parliament had empowered the government of Cameroon to borrow an additional 1,000 billion francs CFA, that's loans, to take this loan meant for developmental projects and other major infrastructural projects in the country. And we are told recently by some newspaper, especially the Guardian Post, that the President of the Republic of Cameroon has authorized the Minister of the Economy, Planning and Regional Development, Alamin Ousmane, to borrow an additional 54.1 billion francs CFA from the World Bank. The money is meant to set up some developmental projects in the country. What do you have to say to this borrowing? Yeah.
I followed up the parliamentary session of we just ended at the National Assembly in Yaoundé, and I got one of the members of parliament questioning the minister in charge of finance on the loan perspectives of Cameroon. So you find that Cameroon is, according to the papers of 2002, you understand that Cameroon is about 50% above the their loan acquisition bar, and the most funniest thing is that all the money Cameroon borrows is never used for the major infrastructures or major developmental projects that are stipulated. Because if you look at the former loan that we received from the International Monetary Fund, it was to be used in fighting COVID-19 in Cameroon.
No, that one was not meant for investment. Let's go over
Yes.
that one. Let's go over that one.
I just want to give examples of how the loans have been borrowed, because if these loans were borrowed maybe to be used to carry out the targeted objectives which the loans are meant for, then it would not be a problem, because governments live on loans. Government lives on loans. Recently, the government had borrowed from IMF another 666 or 666 plus billion. I think 2 years ago, something of that nature. Recently, it was 221 billion francs that was borrowed, and then, like I said, the major infrastructures. If you look at even the dams, most of the dams, you have the Menvelle Dam and all the like. The total capacity that was supposed to be produced, I'm sure it's about 3,000 watts, 3,300 watts, if not mistaken, that was supposed to be produced. We are not talking of even half of it that is being produced today. So you find that the monies that are being borrowed by Cameroon, the targeted objective is not being met. So if that is
who is to blame? Who is to blame? Our parliamentarians are the one voting the finance laws that we have. They go to parliament, they make the laws. The President of the Republic is only acting on the laws made by parliament.
You understand that the way our parliament works is not the way we expect them to work, because you find that these parliamentarians, they have two major duties that they need to perform, that of voting the laws and those of checking the government actions. But you find that if they are the same people that vote the laws, they have to check the government actions, and they are the same ones that will have to go into lobbying for contracts and all the like. You find in the long run, it becomes difficult for the control which they are supposed to do to be effective. So it's as a result of the fact that most of these parliamentarians are not those of let me say, they are not those who went in because they have the legitimate interests of the people at heart. They look at parliament as a source of avarice. Yes. They think that going into parliament is a way for them to grab money, is a way for them to enter into the pot of wealth and all the like. Whereas the role of a parliamentarian, like I said, is to fight for the common good of the ordinary citizens that gave him that mandate to be in parliament. So, like I said, I am not very optimistic that the loans which will be collected by the Minister of Finance on behalf of Cameroon, that's at the IMF.
But Cameroon is not an island. Many other countries in Africa too borrow. They borrow money too from the International Monetary Fund.
If you want to make Cameroon that is a different country, remember Cameroon is Africa in miniature. When I say Cameroon is Africa in miniature, yes, it means Cameroon has a bit of the cultures of different nations within Cameroon. Means that Cameroon, by virtue of that Africa in miniature, is supposed to be the eye of the continent. So other countries are supposed to be maybe copying good governance, the way good governance is supposed to be done from Cameroon. They are supposed to be copying good moral values from Cameroon. So if we have to embezzle money because we think that other countries borrowed money and embezzled, then we automatically lost that that prestige of being Africa in miniature.
Parlons de ces députés, comme LASHA le mentionnait tout à l'heure, ces députés qui vont à l'Assemblée nationale justement voter ces lois. On a eu un de nos panélistes encore hier qui nous faisait comprendre que tous les députés ne sont pas entendus au Parlement. Que se passe-t-il? Comment on peut réellement comprendre ceci?
Ce que nous devons comprendre avec le Parlement camerounais, c'est que le président de l'Assemblée nationale, il a un secrétariat qui existe. Et vous êtes, admettons que c'est pas facile pour que tous les 180 députés puissent parler quand il y a la session ordinaire. Il faut être mandaté par le parti politique pour prendre la parole à l'Assemblée nationale. Et vous devrez être dûment enregistré au secrétariat général de l'Assemblée nationale. Bon, et dès que vous êtes enregistré, le secrétariat général de l'Assemblée nationale, pour juger selon l'objet de votre intervention, que ce n'est pas nécessaire que vous passiez. Si je dis ça honnêtement, parce qu'il faut comprendre que
no, but they cannot be stopped. They cannot be stopped in a current, probably a plenary sitting where they have to air their minds. So if they block you and then you get into the parliament, can't you talk there? You talk.
Like I said, si vous êtes déjà sur le plateau, ou peut-être on vous a déjà accordé le micro, quand vous êtes à l'Assemblée nationale, vous êtes libre de parler. Mais pour avoir le micro, il y a le processus, il y a des critères à remplir. Il y a une fiche à remplir. Vous pouvez avoir des revendications à apporter à l'Assemblée nationale, mais tant qu'on ne vous a pas donné le micro de vous exprimer, ce n'est pas facile de vous exprimer. Vous ne pouvez pas, imaginons que tout le monde à l'Assemblée nationale, parce qu'on les a refusé le micro, se lève, chacun commence à parler, ça sera du désordre. Mais je dis bien, vu le fait que le président de l'Assemblée nationale est un militant du RDPC, qui est le parti au pouvoir, il peut juger à certains moments que certains sujets sont des sujets tabous, sont des sujets de nature à ne pas débattre à l'Assemblée nationale. On vous retire le micro, on ne vous donne même pas le micro. Nous avons vu ce qui s'est passé avec l'honorable Joseph Riba. On l'avait donné le micro, mais il est arrivé que peut-être ce n'était pas ce qu'on attendait qu'il allait parler à l'Assemblée nationale. Il allait dire ce que son peuple sentait à l'époque là. Sûrement s'il avait dit que c'était ce qu'il voulait, c'était de cette telle manière qu'il voulait s'exprimer à l'Assemblée nationale, on n'allait même pas le donner le micro.
D'accord.
Okay. Let's also talk about this vandalism at the embassy of Cameroon in Brussels, that's in Belgium. Recently we saw the Belgian ambassador to Cameroon. He was convocated by the Minister of External Relations of Cameroon, le jeune Bela, to come and answer to some questions regarding security lapses, reason why the embassy had to be vandalized. What actually happened? He was at the External Relations Ministry to defend his country. What do you have to say to this continuous vandalism of embassies, Cameroonian embassies abroad? And these people, we are told by certain newspapers that they were protesting for the release of an individual who reportedly insulted President Paul Biya in a video over the management of COVID-19 funds in the country.
The first thing we need to understand is this. If we have to vandalize the embassies destroy people's private documents, because I think the embassy has...
Must you vandalize when you are reclaiming? Must you necessarily vandalize? Is there not other way that you can make your voices to be heard? Not necessarily vandalizing the premises where you find yourself. Is there no other way you can do it?
I don't think that is the best thing for the boys who are revendicating, maybe requesting that certain rights be accorded them to go on the whole process, vandalizing, maybe destroying public, that's classified documents of the embassy. You know, the embassy is there for all Cameroonians, and including they themselves who have vandalized the embassy. So imagine that their documents which were classified are destroyed. Next time they will be the very first person to say that they went to the embassy and the embassy could not serve them. So I don't think it's the best thing for them to do. But at times you have to look at the circumstances that pushed people to act maybe violently. Maybe that's the last option for them. After having exhausted...
le fait de bafouer les institutions de la République, est-ce que ça traduit de la diaspora camerounaise?
Je pense pas que il est normal pour la diaspora camerounaise de porter atteinte à nos ambassades qui se trouvent au niveau de l'Occident. Mais il faut d'abord établir la liste de ceux qui ont porté ces atteintes sur les ambassades.
Party, mieux... saying that some of them belong to your party. That's what we are reading.
Oui, je vais arriver là-bas, monsieur LASHA Kingsley. La question, c'est qu'il faut d'abord vérifier si ces gars sont véritablement les Camerounais. Bon, nous avons vu, si ça peut se passer ici au Cameroun, on a attaqué le CONSUP, oui, le CONSUP, on a attaqué la Direction nationale des impôts, on a attaqué le JICAM au Cameroun. Nous croyons que c'est à la diaspora où il y a d'autres Camerounais. Il ne faut pas toujours attaquer la diaspora, il faut avouer que ce qui se passe même avec la diaspora se passe ici au Cameroun. Si ici au Cameroun où nous estimons que tous ces endroits devaient être mieux protégés, on ne les
plus qu'à l'étranger, avec toute la sécurité.
C'est chez nous ici, c'est chez nous ici. On parle de ce qui se passe chez nous ici. Moi, je n'étais pas en Belgique pour dire que non, ça devait se passer comme ça. Je parle de chez nous ici. Je pense que tous ces bureaux, toutes ces directions générales...
No, but the ones in Cameroon, they are attributing it to people who want to make certain information disappear because of COVID-gate.
Je reviens, monsieur LASHA Kingsley. Pourquoi pas penser que l'ambassade du Cameroun en Belgique a été aussi saccagée par les gens qui veulent toujours dire c'est le MRC, pour dire c'est la base, pour dire ceci. Ça peut être les gens à l'intérieur de l'ambassade en Belgique qui ont fait la même chose.
Dans quel but?
Dans quel but? Le but est juste pour dire la diaspora est une diaspora, je peux dire quoi, unity, c'est une diaspora faite de hors-la-loi, et que ce sont les militants du mouvement pour la restauration du Cameroun, c'est la base, tout ceci. Juste, vous savez, quand on veut détruire, on veut tuer un chien, il faut donner un mauvais nom à ce chien, et toutes les manigances sont possibles. C'est juste, je peux dire, ça peut être dans la ligne de l'arrogance du régime en place pour dénigrer les autres partis politiques, ou peut-être pour dénigrer la diaspora. Parce que je ne pense pas que en Belgique, où il y a, je pense que c'est l'ambassade...
No, the ambassador explained to the Minister of External Relations, le Jean Belambela, he told le Jean Belambela that those guys disguised themselves like customers. They were like customers who came to request for passports and other documents from the embassy.
Mr.
They took the embassy unaware.
Mr. LASHA Kingsley, it is still in the light of confessing failure, incompetency.
On the part of Belgian government?
On the part of the Belgian, say be it the Belgian, but I think the Belgian, the Cameroon embassy in Belgium have security forces, which some of them are our local recruited Cameroonians who are there. So the blame cannot be thrown on the Belgian security force than our forces who are there, because it is their very prime duty to ensure that their embassy there is well secured. If you come to the Cameroonian embassy, to the United States embassy in Yaoundé, in other places, find that there are US security, there are US security forces.
You have French police.
French police. So tell us that they have recruited incompetent guys and dispatch them to secure our embassies abroad. That's what I will tell you, that we should be blaming our
all the embassies, even in Germany. We have incompetent guys in Germany.
When recruitment into the armed forces, recruitment into the police is done based on parrainage, where will we talk of the competent guys that will be there to man those embassies?
Okay, thank you for coming, sir. It was a pleasure having you. Televiewers, we have come to the end of this program today. Thank you for watching. We will be together tomorrow once again, if God permits, for yet another edition of What the Papers Must Have Said. Bye-bye.